So this is a story about confidence and self-reliance. This was about 1987. This goes way back. And I was in my 20s, and I received what was about the most thrilling call I could imagine at the time. I got a call from Monty Alexander, and he asked me if I could play a couple of concerts with him and Ray Brown and Herb Ellis in Florida a few months after that. And so I said, let me check my calendar. No, I'm kidding. I said, this is amazing. Okay, so yeah, I'd love to. I'd been playing along with lots of Oscar Peterson records with Ray Brown. I was already a huge fan of Monty's. Monty was a hero, and he was kind of becoming a friend. He had sat in on a gig that I was playing with Charlie Bird prior to this. So it was just a huge thing for me. And Ray Brown, of course, was one of the great bass players of all time, one of the greatest musicians in jazz. So I'd been thinking about this gig, and I was just so focused on playing with Ray Brown. I was thinking about this for all those months leading up to the gig. So I fly down to Florida. We did a little rehearsal in the hotel room, and I'm playing brushes on a phone book, and Ray is there, and Monty's there, and Herb is playing. Monty had a little keyboard. We're running through a few things. Then we finally get to the concert hall. And I've just got adrenaline surging through my veins at that point. I'm just, it's just amazing. So we start playing a tune at sound check. And Ray was known for being a very, what we call on top bass player, really, really on top of the beat and really surging ahead in his playing. And I had never played with a bass player quite like that before. The personal dynamics in this band are very important at this moment in time. Herb Ellis was like an uncle to me. I had played with this group called The Great Guitars with Herb, Barney Kessel, and Charlie Bird for, at that point, probably for about 4 or 5 years, and toured all over the world with them and gotten to know them really well. And Herb was a mentor and a friend, and as I mentioned, like an uncle. Herb and Ray were kind of like brothers because they had been on the road together with Oscar Peterson and recorded a zillion albums together. So they were kind of like brothers. They were even roommates with Oscar. So we're all set up very close. And of course, I was just kind of getting to know Monty, and he was kind of getting to know me. And it was wonderful that he had the confidence to hire me at that point. And we're set up kind of like the old Oscar Peterson trio setup, or the Nat King Cole setup, where the piano is kind of in the front. The bass, meaning Ray Brown, was kind of at Monty's left hand at the piano, and I was right next to Ray Brown, within probably a foot or two. My hi-hat was right near the bass. So we're playing a tune. I remember it was I'll Remember April, playing right in here. And again, the adrenaline, the excitement, and I'm listening to only Ray Brown and thinking in my little 20-something-year-old head, I'm with you, Ray. I'm with you, Ray. So the second chorus, I noticed, is now it's kind of like right in here. And about the third chorus, it had gotten even faster as I'm focused on Ray Brown, but I look over at Monty, and he can kind of barely get the notes in. He's kind of squirming to kind of, and Monty has the greatest chops of any piano player you can imagine. So we stop. Again, it's sound check. Monty moves the piano a little bit. We adjust a few things here and there. Herb Ellis, my uncle kind of, leans back to me because he's right in front of my bass drum. He leans back and he says in a very nonchalant way, he says, because he knows Ray's playing as well as anybody, he says, don't get up there with him. Just play the way you play. So Herb knew that I had some authority in my playing at that point. Of course, I still had a lot to get together, being that young. I still have a lot to get together, but we're all always learning. But I had a lot of lessons to learn. So basically, Herb was saying to assert myself and to play the way I play, listen to everything that's going on. So we start again. I'll Remember April. Now I'm listening. I'm listening to the piano player, Monty Alexander, Herb Ellis, and I'm listening to the bass. That's all happening. And I'm focused on the big picture. And it occurs to me that it feels like the bass player is pushing a little bit. So I center myself and I put it right where Monty kicked off the tempo. Now I feel the spread of the beat happening. I had never felt this before. Ray is kind of on top, and I'm kind of like holding back like you would. It really was a very similar sensation to a sailboat when the wind is really blowing and you're just pulling back. You're all moving forward, but you're pulling on that sail just so it doesn't get out of control. And it was the most thrilling ride I had ever had. I could feel the adrenaline. I still get goosebumps when I talk about this. So now it's starting to feel good. And I look at Monty and he is just ripping the piano up, just tearing it up. And I'm thinking, oh, this is how this thing is supposed to feel. Herb is right in the center. I feel like he's kind of my ally with the beat. And Ray is just making the whole thing more exciting than you could possibly imagine. And when that starts happening, at that moment, I can kind of feel Herb's approval. He leans back at me while we're in the middle of that groove and he said, "That's it, baby. Fuck him," pointing to Ray Brown. Of course, they love each other. Ray hears that. No response. He's just swinging away. And I'm feeling like I have all the confidence in the world because now I'm bringing something to the table, to this big thing that we call the groove in this setting. And it just got better for the entire weekend. I just kept thinking that every time I have to bring something to this. I have to play my role in this, which is to kind of keep centered and let Ray do his thing. And of course, Ray, even though he's on top, he's listening to everything going on. He's listening to me. He's kind of using my confidence and my assertion of where the beat is to make the whole thing happen. And if I'm not bringing anything to the table, it's going to be like a freight train running away because the drummer has to bring something to the table. So that was a big lesson in confidence, and I've tried to retain that wherever I go. And it was just an amazing situation. We played 2 nights, and I'll never forget that feeling.